Boom, 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 boom. Utah will go back to the national championship.
Bang, 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 bang.
You want talent and tradition? Here you go.
Take it home with
Red
me.
Rocks, ready to rock it at their whole talent show.
It will be enough for Utah to advance to the championship final. That is an uplifting moment for this team.
Think of the best team team in the nation, number one.
Right now.
He gives me back-to-back stuff balls. The scores are in. Utah, three-peats. Boom, boom, boom.
Now fans, get up on your feet and let's get loud for your University of Utah Red Rocks, presented by AFCU. A sophomore from Las Vegas, Nevada, Sarah Crump. A freshman from Indianapolis, Indiana, Elizabeth Gatner. A sophomore from Hawkinson, Delaware, Ashley Glenn. A freshman from Stillwater, Minnesota, Ella Zerbez. A senior from Temecula, California, Alani Sabado. A freshman from Orem, Utah, Cami Winger. A fifth-year senior from Las Vegas, Nevada, Miley O'Keefe. A sophomore from Albuquerque, New Mexico, McKenna Smith. A junior from Isanti, Minnesota, Grace McCallum. A fifth-year senior from Mesa, Arizona, Jaden Rucker. A fifth-year senior from Anoka, Minnesota, Abby Paulson. A freshman from Maryville, Tennessee, Olivia Kennedy. A senior from McKinney, Texas, Shailene Gilstrap. A junior from Bristol, England, Emily Morgan. And fans, let's hear it for your 2024 Red Rocks. And the Utes are led by assistant coaches Jimmy Pratt and Maya Hambrick, and head coach Carly Dockendorf. Gymnasts, please prepare for your first event. Time warm-ups will begin in 2 minutes.
Tonight's Red Rocks preview will consist of the whole team rotating as one group through vault and bars, then splitting into 2 groups for beam and floor. There will be no scores shown tonight. Also, there may be some spotting for the safety of our athletes. Not all routines performed tonight will include the level of difficulty that they may once the season gets underway next month. And most importantly, we love that you're here. So let's cheer loud so that the Red Rocks know what you like. And you'll notice tonight that the Red Rocks are wearing special leotards that each gymnast designed themselves. Now these leotards will be available for sale on the concourse tonight. You'll want to get them today.
Investment Center. Great to have you with us on Lear Field. Well, good evening, along with former Red Rock All-American Kendall Robarts-Pond. I'm Mike Lagashow. Well,
Mike, you're an All-American too.
Yeah, thank you. I tell you, it's been a difficult offseason for this gymnastics program. Back on November 21st, the administration and head coach Tom Farda mutually agreed to part ways. Colleen Dockendorf had been already named the interim head coach at that point. They made it official on December 7th that Colleen will be taking over as a permanent head coach. And Colleen's been at the program since 2018 when she started as a volunteer assistant. He taught the gym to say raved about her sense of calm demeanor, her approach to the team, and to provide everyone around the program a chance to kind of close that one chapter and move on to the next. And they are ready for the season to get started.
Yeah, I think they're definitely ready for the season to get started. There's been a lot of chatter behind the scenes, so I think for them to be able to finally put their gymnastics out there, which is what they've been working towards for their entire lives, is what this team is looking for, and excited to finally get to that point.
Well, as an assistant, Carly turned Utah to one of the best beam teams in the country in recent years. We visited with her this week. She definitely has a plan for how she wants to run this program, short-term, long-term. One of her top goals is really nothing to do with scores or winning meets. Instead, it's all about the gymnasts getting back to having some fun and really having, you know, a positive outlook and not beating themselves up as much and just saying, hey, let's enjoy it. You know, she's got a board in the gym that has the gymnast as a youngster. Says this is who you are as a person, and then as a gymnast, and said this is who you are right now. But really the thought is, you know, don't lose sight of who you are as a person. That's what's most important first, and the team seems to really be enjoying that approach with her.
Yeah, and I think the joy of the sport, when you were little, you loved gymnastics and you continue to do it because of that love, and so refinding that through the years, it can get lost, I think, a bit, and especially when you're in college and you're working towards, you know, a degree and some other things, but finding that joy back will only help them improve. And I know when we were talking to her this week, Carly mentioned that that's been one of her real things she's been grateful for this year, is she's seen Grace really find her love for the sport again. And I think we'll see that ultimately impact the final results too, but I think she really cares about the whole person, and it's really nice.
All right, so high expectations for this team once again. Despite the offseason challenges, people around the country still have a lot of respect for Utah's program and their talent. They were picked fourth in the WGCA preseason poll by the coaches. Oklahoma was number 1, Florida number 2, LSU at number 3, Utah number 4, followed by UCLA and Michigan, your top 6. Pretty routine top 6, but I think the fact that Utah is still there despite the change in leadership, that says a lot about the respect for this program.
Yeah, it's been a legacy that's been created over almost 50 years, and maybe 50 years. I need to check my math on that, but that's not something that can just be easily taken away. And the gymnasts have put a lot of time and effort their whole lives really into getting to where they are, and the team is incredible, and I think that that's going to show through their competition, but also through that ranking.
All right, well, this roster contains a ton of talent. In fact, there's 5 All-Americans. O'Keefe has won 16 All-America awards. Grace McCallum 6, Abby Paulson 4, Jana Rucker 2, McKenna Smith as a freshman got her first last year, and they welcome in 4 very talented freshmen: Elizabeth Gatner, Olivia Kennedy, Cammie Winger, Ella Zerba is also Temple transfer, Ashley Glenn to the 2024 roster. So despite losing some key routines, they gained some very talented newcomers.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. We've been so used to our typical beam lineup for the past few years, and we've lost Crystal Lisa, who was a huge spot for us on that event. But I think that it opens the door for a new beamer to come in, and Carly said that there's a bunch of women fighting for that spot and who have done a really great job in the gym. So it'll be fun to see how that shifts a little bit, and including Emily Morgan. She said that she's really cleaned up a lot of her details. Emily's been going first since she was a freshman, and that with those cleaned up details, we should see her moved back in the lineup a bit. And so we'll see another new gymnast come and kick off the event, which will be fun too.
All right, this Red Rock season brought to you by America First Credit Union. the only place you can get the exclusive Utes Visa debit card. America First can help you, your family, or your business reach any financial goal faster. So wherever life takes you, make sure you're always having a home court advantage by becoming a member today at your neighborhood branch or at AmericaFirst.com. Well, this will be a normal meet in the sense we will go vault, bars, beam, and floor. For the Red Rocks, we will have 8 competitors for the Red Rocks scheduled to go. They'll go 1 through 8 on vault, then 1 through 8 on bars. They will split up into 2 squads. For beam and floor, we'll have 5 gymnasts in both groups, so we'll get a chance to see 10 performers on beam, 10 on floor, 8 each on bars, and really with vault, Jimmy coaches both vault and bars. He can't be in 2 spots. So they're going to help Jimmy out by letting him focus on one event, and he'll be excited to get going here in a few moments with vault first. Cammie Winger, Ella Zerbes, Ashley Glenn, McKenna Smith, Jana Rucker, Grace McCallum, Alani Sabato, Olivia Kennedy, the 8 to go tonight on the vault for the Red Rocks.
And this will be Cammie Winger, the Utah native gymnast. This will be her debut in the Huntsman Center, something I'm sure she's been dreaming about since she was a little girl up in the stands herself.
National runner-up on floor at the 2022 Level 10 National Championships, and she's first up on vault.
And she does a Yurchenko full for tonight. She has a big 1.5, which is a 10-0 start value, but since it's the preview and we're still a few weeks out from season, you'll see a lot of that tonight. Watering down of skills, so timers, which a Yurchenko full for a 1.5 is a timer. And you want to see just exactly what she did. She has great body position in the air. She gets a bounce back. And that's a good thing because that means that she has that extra power and height in order to make that extra half turn that she'll need whenever she's competing.
Not scoring tonight, but when they do, they're looking for clean execution, distance off the table and from the table. And as Kendall mentioned, we won't see the 1.5s or double Yurchenkos tonight. We'll save that for later on, but down the road, 7 10-0 vaults for this Utah team.
Yeah, and that's huge because I think that's been a missing piece for Utah for the past few years. We've had some 10-0 vaults, mostly 10-0 vaults, but hitting those consistently. And so having 7 deep of 10-0 vaults is really, I think, a good place to help notch up in that final and winning that national championship.
All right, Ella Zerbes second up for Utah.
Another really great vault. You see how much distance she gets from the table, clean in the air there, and same thing, gets that bounce back, plenty of height and power to make that 1.5 easily whenever the time comes for that.
Zerbes from Stillwater, Minnesota, 2-time national champion in the all-around in 19 and 23, also a bars national champion in 19.
Yeah, and just looking at this replay here, she gets a ton of height off that table, beautiful form and lines. We'll see that. That is a trend with her gymnastics. She's just executes perfectly, has great lines, and really fun to watch.
All right, Ashley Glenn is next up, just like Cammie and Ella. She will do a 1.5 once we start for real in a few weeks. But Ashley, a sophomore from Delaware.
Yeah, and Ashley is the transfer from Temple, and this vault, well, the one she will eventually compete for us, but vault is one of the reasons that Utah really went after her. She has an awesome 1.5, and she brings a lot of fun to the team as well, but this vault is something to look forward to.
Ashley won all 13 meets on vault for Temple last year.
Yeah, it goes huge, Yurchenko full. Really pretty in the air, straight body position, and that's what you want. You want height, distance, and then you want that perfectly straight body and pointed toes, and I think we'll get a replay here. Yeah, beautiful. And again, that just sets her up perfectly for that 1.5.
As I mentioned, a lot of experience in this event. Scored as high as a 9.875 twice last year for Temple. So both of her parents, Tom and Donna, were collegiate gymnasts at Temple. So Ashley decided I'm going to go there as well and was named the Temple Female Sport Newcomer of the Year. But after 1 year, thought, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else and get into more of an elevated program like Utah and show what I can do there. So she's been a great addition to this Red Rocks team.
Yes, and we're glad that she came over to us.
So she will figure prominently in this vault lineup once we get going in a few weeks. Next up, the sophomore from Albuquerque, McKenna Smith, who was just dynamite last year for this Red Rocks team. great energy. She is 4th up on vault tonight.
And McKenna will do her actual vault. She does a half on, pike off. Really nicely done. A hop forward there, but super controlled. And that vault, there's not really a watered down version you can do super easily. So you just kind of got to go for it. And she did a really nice job there on that hard surface.
McKenna went on vault all 15 meets last year with wins at LSU and Arizona. First team NCAA All-American on this event. Best score of the year, a 9.95. That came against Oklahoma. She scored a 9.9 or better 5 times last season.
Yeah, and watching that replay, really nice vault for McKenna. Great form in the air, legs glued together, exactly what you want.
So McKenna won the regulars on vault and bars last year, also won on beam the last 6 meets before regionals, competed on floor 13 of 15 meets. So she is someone who can go all around. As we look ahead to the start of the season. All right, Jaden Rucker up next for the Red Rocks, and talk about someone who hit their form late in the season. Jaden Rucker went to regionals, had a couple lawn darts at Poly Pavilion, 10.0s both nights of regionals. In fact, the first Utah gymnast with a 10.0 on vault in postseason in school history.
Yeah, and Jaden, same thing, does that Yurchenko full, which is just a watered down version of her 1.5 vault. And again, nice vault. We know the capability of Jaden, and you can see it in this timer right here. Gets a lot of height and then just floats it down, ready for that extra half twist.
Jaden Rucker, NCAA champion on vault back in 22. All right, still 3 more to go for the Red Rocks. In that, what would be the anchor spots in a regular meet, Grace McCallum. Next up for Utah. Grace, just great to see her back at Nationals. Had that knee injury during the season, missed a lot of time. Really fought to get back for postseason. We finally saw her in Fort Worth and scored great. Arm bolt beam and bars for the Red Rocks in the national championships.
Yeah, and Grace has a big Yurchenko full, just like Jaden before her. Gets a lot of height and distance, and she's preparing for a Yurchenko double full this year. So she needs an extra height because she's going to do a whole extra full turn on that vault whenever competition comes around. But I think she's got it. It'll be fun to watch that. That's the same vault that Michaela Skinner did for us, and really big and not very common in college gymnastics.
So Grace McCallum came back from that injury, now has had a full offseason to really get all the way back. And in fact, Carly Dockendorf saying she's not just back to where she was, she's advanced with her skill level, really adjusted well to the college scene. You know, she had that whirlwind experience of the Olympics and then the Olympic tour, got the campus late, and had a good freshman year last year, had a great offseason going in, and was off to a great start. Just had an unfortunate knee hyperextension at the Metroplex Challenge that derailed her year, but seems to be in a great spot right now as she heads into her 3rd season with the Red Rocks. Next up, Alani Sabato, second to last to go tonight on vault.
Yeah, and Alani does a Yurchenko full, which will be her vault, and is a little pike down, gets some good distance there, but doesn't quite get the turnover that she needs. So just a small pike down there, but a good first vault for a preview.
Well, you remember maybe Alani at the Pac-12 championships in 21. They needed someone to go late and just get a stick, and someone who would be solid. And Alani went out there after a late substitution, scored a 9.8.
And that's what they needed.
And that's all they needed to clinch the Pac-12 championship.
Yeah, it was a pretty awesome moment for Alani, and someone who has been with this program for 4 years, put her heart and soul into it. She's just a joy to be around, and I hope she gets a couple chances this year. I'm sure she will, as the 7th up for Utah at this point.
All right, last to go, another one of the freshmen, Olivia Kennedy from Maryville, Tennessee. Placed 6th on vault at the 2017 Junior Olympic National Championships.
Yeah, and has a really nice Yurchenko full. And same for Olivia. That will be Olivia's full vault right there. So no watered down version. But gets a lot of height. Has a little pike down as well, but really clean and powerful.
So fairly clean through the first rotation. Again, they're not scoring tonight and not doing full routines, but just your overall impressions of the first 8 up on vault tonight.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be excited about. There are some really big full and a halves that we know are coming, but the fulls looked great today. And it's hard full as well.
So Jimmy Pratt has taken over as the full-time bars coach. He was already handling about 50% of that, so now he's more, in fact, has become the full-time bars coach along with vault. Carly Dockendorf coaching balance beam, and Maya Hambrick is the floors coach, as she has been in the past, but now a full-time assistant coach. And now first up on bars, Cami Winger.
Yeah, beautiful start to her routine. A little close on that pack salto there, and has to save that half pirouette on the low bar. Is able to save it, but that's a really sizable deduction there. Nice handstand on the high bar. Half in, half out. Bounce back on that landing, but I know Cami will be disappointed with that, but that is the point of today, is to get some of those nerves and jitters out, and I think that's what we're seeing here, is that half turn was just a little early, but gosh, that's going to be beautiful and exactly what you want. You want to do a half turn that lands right on top of the bar, and that's what Cami's capable of. And then, yeah, just that hop back, but...
Well, you're exactly right. That's what tonight's all about, to get in the building for the first time on the equipment, under the lights. Fans in here to watch it. You're not over in the comforts of the Dumpke Center.
Yeah, and some of that, you're right, it's the lights and it's the ceiling height. All of those things impact how you do your gymnastics, where you spot. The depth perception of a higher ceiling really throws a new element in there, and all of these women have been in arenas with high ceilings, but getting back used to that after a whole off season takes a minute. And so having this event really, I think, is a benefit to the team.
Well, Cami has led off both vaults and bars, and they plan on her going both those events for sure once we get going in the regular season. She can go all 4 events in various times. Probably not all around for her this year, but definitely vault and bars for her. Could be a leadoff performer on several events, but Carly says just lots of fun. Just a great person having a gym, and we're excited to have her here in her first season. All right, McKenna Smith, second to go tonight for the Red Rocks.
Maybe a tad short on that high bar handstand. Nice transition to the low bar. Good toe on. Ooh, and clip that bar with her foot there on. Oh, and a new dismount. Toe on, pike on half. That was really clean. We've seen some squirrely ones, but that looked awesome. I think a good way to eliminate some deductions for her, and great landing, especially for her first time doing it. And yep, brand new dismount.
Yeah, we were told by Carly this is what she's planning on doing, and went with it tonight. I thought it looked pretty good. I'll defer to you as always, but I thought nice height. And
yeah,
watch the replay here in full.
Nice toe hand, and then yeah, gets great height, good feet, and gosh, just got that stick right off the bat. And with that skill, if you're able to get that height, you can see the floor the whole time. So spotting that landing, I think, is a real advantage to getting that stick.
So McKenna expected to go all around at times this year. Vault has been her best event. Talked about the improvements on bars she's made. Has a great floor routine with a 70s vibe, we're told. This should be a lot of fun.
That fits. McKenna has some spunky personality, and to get to see that in a floor routine will be fun.
You know, last year for a freshman, she got thrown into the events a lot early. Never seemed phased by the moment. Even as we went to postseason, she was always pretty solid and just kind of has that Tate Charge personality that you love.
Yeah, she has a lot of confidence and had that from day one, and it's been fun to see. And I think throughout her time, we'll just watch her grow and blossom, and it's fun to see. And you don't see that typically from freshmen, just coming in and having that confidence. And so, yeah.
All right, Ella Zerba is up next. Will be third to go on bars tonight, and Carly Dockendorf describes her as a perfectionist. Holds herself to a very high standard, but has exquisite lines and execution. That's where that perfectionism pays off, and excited to watch her first performance on bars in front of us.
Yeah, and this bar routine is just spectacular. It's beautiful and is a huge addition to this lineup. That toe point immediately, you can just tell. Big toe onto Kochev right into that pack salto. Really clean low bar half pirouette. And God, that toe point, and the handstand right there, beautiful. Sets up for her half in, half out, knees glued together, and just that foot movement on the landing. But that routine is gonna score really well for Utah, and I would be shocked if that doesn't move farther down the lineup.
That's my exact thought as well. You just saw that in the fourth spot.
Well, and then I look down and see who's after her, and but that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, you go Morgan, McCallum, O'Keefe to wrap it up. That's not a bad,
it's not a bad
back end.
No.
But I think to your point as well, I saw that in the 3 spot, and that could score easily.
Exactly.
Last 2 spots, and it scored very well.
And it's nice to look at the back half of that lineup and see how much experience is sitting back there. Not just in college gymnastics, but in elite gymnastics, in the Olympics. So breaking into that will be tough, but that was a gorgeous bar routine as a preview a month out from season. So I'm expecting to see some really awesome things from Ella here.
Zerba is a former national champion on bars back in 2019.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, that certainly is her best event. Father Jeremy played baseball and football at Concordia College. Ella out of Stillwater, Minnesota.
Another one of those 2-sport athletes like Carly Dockendorf.
Absolutely. How about that? So
I know,
Carly,
incredible.
We talked about this, but you kind of go back over her stuff. To be an All-American, not just competing, but an All-American in gymnastics and the pole vault. Incredible.
Pretty awesome.
All right, 4th up, Emily Morgan.
So to that Maloney, full twisting pack salto. Another nice transition to the high bar there. Toe on, handstand. Oh, a Stalder tuck half? That's a different dismount too. And clean. Last year, I felt like she did that toe on pike half for a little while, and it was a bit squirrely, but that really looked clean there. And that's one of the things Carly said, is that Emily has cleaned up a lot of her small deductions, and I think we see that in that dismount.
Have been dealing with some ankle injury issues the last couple of years, and they're doing much better from what we've heard. And because of that, training's been better, just feels better overall. So Carly says, I think this will be her year.
Yeah, and that would be fun to see. She has such a great personality, a fun person to be around, but also an incredible leader and someone who I know the team has really leaned on and has just came in with great leadership skills, and she's a tremendous athlete in person.
Was a member of the bronze medal winning team for Great Britain at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. As part of the British national team for a number of years. Originally committed to Cal, but after the Olympics decided to come to Utah and follow another Olympian, Grace McCallum. Great to see her back going all 4 events tonight.
It is. It's really nice to see that. I'm sure her competitive spirit is liking it as well. Beautiful handstand on that low bar. Great combination there. Ooh, right into the Stalder. Beautiful, and just in Grace fashion, this has been a very clean routine. Nice half in, half out. I'm gonna say where her toe's a little more pointed, I think maybe Mike. That was beautiful.
Pretty good, huh?
That would have scored really well if that was the first meet.
My goodness. So Grace McCallum, going back to again the last year, had the knee hyperextension on vault at the Metroplex Challenge. Fought her way back for nationals, and I'll never forget the moment of her competing on bars and beam in Fort Worth. On bars, had a 9.95 in the semis, went 9.9375 in the national finals, gave the Utes 2 big scores at the national championships, but again, fully healthy, looks tremendous, and we've heard as well, having just a lot of fun being back in the gym and healthy.
Which is nice for her. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that her leotard might be my favorite of all of these Leos we've seen out here tonight.
And these are on sale, by the way, at the Utah Red Zone in the Huntsman Center tonight. You can buy them online as well, but all the gymnasts able to pick out and design their own leotards. And been a nice thing they've started the last couple of years with this team. So if you had a chance, go check them out at the store in the arena or online throughout the season.
Right, and we have Miley O'Keefe about to debut for her 5th year here. Nice handstand on the low bar. Beautiful low bar, high bar, low bar transition. Nice pirouette on that low bar. Very clean, just in typical Miley fashion. Goes for her double Arabian. Nice dismount there. Got a lot of height on that, was able to spot that landing. Good routine.
Always amazed how she finds that landing with that double Arabian. Has done it so well consistently, but you look at her career, 4-time NCAA champ, went on beam in the all-around last year, was the champion on bars and floor in 21, and Carly Dockendorf saying, you know, she's done so much as an individual, wants more, but really is about the team this year. She wants that team national championship so bad. That is part of the reasons why she came back, and Carly saying she's just been terrific as a leader with this group after the challenging offseason they've had.
Yeah, and that leadership I think is showing, but Miley is such an incredible gymnast. We're so lucky that she came back this year, and she looks like she's in postseason form on that bar routine, and after she's done it for a few years, I'm sure it feels like old hat, but it's still pretty amazing and beautiful every time she does it.
I think the great thing for the super seniors, health-wise, they're still pretty good. You know,
right.
At times as a gymnast, your body just starts to give out on you a bit, but these three are in excellent shape physically as they head into this bonus year.
Yeah, and I think they do fewer reps than a lot of the other women on the team. They start to take it easy. I know I was talking to Jaden earlier this week, and she was telling me how she does far fewer passes on floor and vaults than other people, but that's just important to keep their bodies healthy, and that's why they're able to do that, because these coaches really prepare and make sure that they're safe.
All right, Alani Sabato now working bars.
Yeah, so far this has been a great bar routine, really clean, a little short on that high bar handstand there. Double A, nice landing, just a little hop back there.
New routine for Alani, and has cleaned up the details on bars.
Yeah, and really that looked a lot cleaner than I've seen Alani do, which is great for her, especially as a senior working on some of those details.
So Alani went exhibition on bars 4 times last year, competed all 14 meets. A couple years ago, best score in this event at 9.875. You know, someone right now is in that number 7 spot as an alternate, but there are times this year where I think they will give some people some nights off, and we'll see Alani compete on this event.
Or it's a long season, and somebody might have to take some time off, or hopefully, but might not be able to compete, and having a clean 7th up is really important. And that's what Alani just showed us.
All right, so last up, the transfer from Temple, Ashlyn Glenn. Career best score last year with the Owls, a 9.875 on this event. And Carly says her execution lines are great. Mainly looking to compete on vault and bars this year. Beam and floor still in the works. And a chance to see Ashlyn in her final event had this be a regular season meet.
She's ready to go. Starts off with a nice handstand. And yes, beautiful toe point. That's just gorgeous. Maybe a little short on that overshoot. Beautiful handstand there. Stalled her into a double back. Really clean, just got a little over-rotated on that double back to take that hop back there, but that routine, I think, can be so clean and simple that it can score really well.
So Ashley Glenn wrapping up bars tonight. Well, Kendall, again, if we were games with scores, how would you evaluate that?
I think that was something that they should be really excited about. You know, Cammie had that little mishap on her pirouette on the low bar, but was able to save it. And I think just good for a freshman to get some of those nerves out. And then we saw McKenna clip her foot. But other than that, those were the 2 big mistakes. And that 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6 up went really, really well. And I think Utah has hopefully raised the bar on that event again this year, which will help them in postseason.
All right, so we are halfway through this Red Rocks preview. Our meet being brought to you by America First Credit Union, the only place you have the Best of Utah that Monday afternoon. So we'll have the first 3 meets of the season right here on ESPN 700. We'll have the live stream as well for the Boise State competition. All right, we are set to go. First up on balance beam in this exhibition, Cammie Winger.
Once again, this is her 3rd event tonight to lead off on, and it's an exciting position to be in, but also a challenging one, and one as a freshman that I'm impressed she's done so well so far, and getting on beam, great for her.
So Cammie looking to go on vault and bars, but definitely a chance to fight for some time on beam and floor as we work our way through the season.
Beautiful acro there. Nice switch leap, split leap. So far, this has been a great routine, and she looks really confident out there. And I always feel like the Huntsman Center on beam is particularly intimidating. You're staring right into the fans' eyes. They're level with you. Back handspring layout. Really nicely done. And she does not look nervous at all, which is awesome.
Yeah, you mentioned on bars, maybe a little bit, but had a chance to kind of maybe work that out of her and kind of fight through it, and yeah, has looked dynamite.
A gainer front full, stuck that landing. Good for Cammie. I'm sure she wanted to come back after that bar routine and did exactly that and did a great job.
So Cammie was coached and clubbed by former Red Rock All-American McKenna Merrill Giles, also current Utah assistant Jimmy Pratt. So lots of ties to this program. Cammie out of Orem, Utah, Timpanogos High School.
We have a couple former Red Rocks who are coaches around the area. Which is fun.
I know McKenna was working with BYU a little bit last year as well, I believe. All right, let's go over to floor. Well, we've heard this could be a lot of fun to watch. A 70s inspired floor routine for McKenna Smith to lead things off.
Really showing off her spunky, fun personality. Opens up with a front double full. Made that look easy. Great landing there. And just like on vault, you'll probably see a little bit watered down skills, so maybe not quite the difficulty that you would see in a competition. But they'll want to get some of those bigger skills out on the hard floor here.
Well, Kendall noticed the 70s flowers inspired leotard that McKenna,
you know, just throwing out
tonight.
a guess that she coordinated those two things.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was an accident.
I'm sure it was not. Front 1.5 layout, rebound, really clean. Yeah, great first 2 passes for McKenna. She's got so much power and height in her tumbling. And we see that on vault too.
Well, you see gymnasts like her with the big personalities that really shine through on this event. That certainly can help with the scoring. McKenna going on floor 13 to 15 meets last year, scored a 9.925 at the national finals on that final afternoon last season.
Yeah, front 1.5 to end there. Great floor routine for McKenna.
McKenna Smith
made it look easy.
Sure did. Scored as high as a 9.95 on floor last year. Yeah, she scored a 9.875 or better in 11 of the competition, so pretty consistent. But a remade floor routine that will be a lot of fun to watch over the course of the year.
Yeah, and I think you were mentioning, Mike, that choreography can definitely play into an increased score, and that's definitely true. Part of gymnastics is artistry, and so having that element is really important, especially when you're looking at beam and floor.
All right, second up on beam, the sophomore Sarah Crump out of Las Vegas.
A little over-rotated on that full turn there, but was able to hang on to it and kind of dance her way out of it a bit. She sets up here for her series. She goes triple series, back handspring layout. Nicely done there, really clean.
Sarah placing 4th on beam at the 2021 Junior Olympic Championships. So this is her best event pre-college.
Beat jump, front toss to her knee. Is able to hang on to that there as she flashes the U. It's really hard to do. It's like for those on the radio, it's like a front flip to your knee on the balance beam. Beautiful presentation. She's got a very calming presence. Straddle quarter. She seems to maybe have settled in here.
Yeah, nice smile there after that last sequence.
And as someone who didn't compete much, this is a really important meet or preview for Sarah. Getting out on the competition floor and working some of those nerves out. Front full, stuck the landing, beautiful. Good for Sarah. And you can see the team is super excited for her.
Well, it has to be tough. You kind of know the situation. Didn't go last year, a very talented freshman class, and a transfer, and Ashley Glenn coming in. Have to wonder, okay, where's my spot? But from what Claire Dockendorf said, Sarah's been fighting. She's been trying. She's been going for it. She wants it. And good to see her get off to a pretty good start here tonight.
Yeah, and she loves being part of this team, and to see that joy pan out into something is really pretty awesome.
All right. One of the veterans, Abby Paulson, out of the state of Minnesota, second up in this third rotation on floor.
Well, and Abby has a Taylor Swift floor routine. I don't know if anybody who knows Abby is surprised by that.
Well, if you follow her on social, she has been all over it this summer.
Yes, she has. Which is really fun, I think, especially for gymnastics fans. I think there's some crossover there. Front through to 2.5, a little over-rotated, but is able to hang it on to it with just one step out, just a little bit bigger step there. Got a little compilation of T-Swift going on. Front layout, front full, beautiful, clean, really well done there.
Abby scoring a 9-9 in 7 of the last 8 performances on floor a year ago.
Beautiful leap pass there. That's a place where maybe if you're not looking for deduction, you see great tumbling, that's maybe a place that you're not noticing. Feet getting all the way around. But Abby did a really nice job, and beautiful last pass. I mean, great routine for Abby. And so far, these have been full sets.
Yeah. They have let it go on this event. Abby Paulson, I talked about her great run of 9-9s to end the season. She had a 9-9 at the Pac-12 Championships, a 9-9-2-5 at the regional semis to win it in that session. Had a 9-9 at the national finals. Double major in kinesiology and poli-science. And
yeah, and that's a really unique combination,
Yeah.
but Abby was a pre-med planned student, had gotten almost all the way through those incredibly difficult prerequisites with an incredibly high GPA, and said, yeah, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm super interested in politics, and so she kept with the kinesiology because that had her going for her pre-med, and added on this political science, which is a totally different major, and I mean, is just an incredible student athlete.
yeah, one of the fun parts about that bonus 6 years to further your education. All right, let's go back over to beam. One of the freshmen, Elizabeth Gantner, third up.
Goes back handspring layout. Interesting combination into a straddle jump there. Maybe not quite as connected as you would hope, but pretty close. Switch
Elizabeth,
half.
yeah, excuse me, level 10 national champion on bars and beam in 2021.
I love it. You see, I think she enjoys being up there. She seems happy on the beam, and not everybody is. Sometimes it takes a while to love that event.
Elizabeth, coached by J.C. Phelps, a member of the 1996 Olympic gold medal team in Atlanta. Magnificent 7. So it's been prepared very well pre-college. Balance beam, her event right now. And eventually bars and floor will come later in the season, but Carly Dockendorf says her skills presentation are there, and we think she can really help us in a tough-to-crack beam lineup over the course of the season.
Yeah, and that was a really nice routine. for her first debut in the Huntsman Center as well.
All right, back over to floor, and third up in this third rotation, Jaylene Gilstrap, senior from McKinney, Texas.
And Jaylene is someone who just really bloomed last year. We'd seen bits and pieces, but we really saw the full potential of Jaylene last year. And one of the benefits of Jaylene competing is her beautiful presentation. And so far, this floor routine is awesome.
Yeah, graceful, new routine.
And then powerful, beautiful front layout, Rudy.
Yeah, Carly said, you talked about the step forward last year. Carly says it's been even more so this offseason. You've really seen her flourish in the gym. So excited to see Jaylene for her senior season. Went on floor all 15 meets last year, scored a 9-9 at the national semifinals a year ago.
Just every detail of this presentation is stunning. She has the most beautiful toe point. And look at that flexibility she shows off in her dances there. I think that landing there could have been a little bit cleaner. But yeah, it's so awesome to see her succeed. And she's another person, just a beautiful human inside and out. Front layout, front full, really clean. Another great floor routine and beautiful presentation. I think that'll score really well. Judges love that artistry element.
Yeah, we've been hearing that since she came on campus, and if she can put it all together, the artistry is there, everything you want, it just needs to come together for her. She's been working at it, and again, the great push at the end of last year. In fact, scored a 9.925 at the Pac-12 Championships to tie for 6th out of West Valley City. So she went on vault the last 12 meets last year, went on beam 4 times. Floor has been her most consistent event so far in her college career. Let's go back over to balance beam. Grace McCallum, 4th up in this rotation.
Yeah, and Grace is one of those who hasn't always loved this event. And Carly was telling us that this year she's really embraced it and is starting to find the love for it. And does her triple wolf turn there, makes it look effortless, and the amount of strength and balance that that takes is.
Has a new side aerial layout we'll see as part of this routine.
So new series here. Yep, side aerial layout. Makes it look easy. And it is not. Same with everything she does.
Grace McCallum scored as high as a 9.975 on this event last year at UCLA. Scored a 9.9 or better 4 times in a shortened season. Had a 9.925 at the national semifinals in her comeback meet.
Yeah, she's someone who Utah just continually relies on for her consistency and cleanliness.
So speaking of NIL, we talked about the trucks and the vehicles here that were offered to the basketball teams and gymnastics. Well, Grace McCallum took some NIL money last year and bought a massage chair for the gymnastics team that now resides over in the Dumpke Gymnastics Center that was, by the way, reopened this summer after an extensive renovation. But it's just great to see athletes who make some money and say, you know what, I'm going to get back to my team, and Grace did just that last season.
Yeah, I actually got a chance to sit in that massage chair.
Really?
And when you sit in it, it like figures out how tall you are and adjusts to your height. So then it's like molded to your body. It's pretty incredible.
I might need to drop by the
Yeah, you
Dumpke
maybe
some
should, Mike.
Watch a little practice. And
get a massage.
yeah, there you go. All right, over the floor, 4th up, Alani Sabato in this 3rd rotation.
Alani goes front layout, front full. Is a little off center. You're allowed to take 1 step forward on floor in the direction of your flip. It needs to be controlled, so depending on how that step forward looks, depends on whether you have a deduction or not. And you want it to be directly in the direction. So if it's a little off to the side, then that can count as a deduction. But nice jumps there.
Alani from Temecula, California, has not competed in competition on floor during her college career.
Goes double tuck. Nicely done. And since this is the preview, you can see that Jimmy is out there spotting, and they might or might not have a mat out there, but some of those things are pieces just to ensure safety, get some time out on the floor, and reduce some of those hard landings, because after 20 years of doing gymnastics, those landings start to add up on you.
All right, one more performer on each event in this third rotation. Miley O'Keefe will wrap things up over on beam. And then Ella Zerbes to close it out on floor. So again, no scoring tonight, but you hear the crowd.
For Miley, everybody's always excited to watch Miley on beam.
Well, in regular season, a 10 is always in play when she's on the apparatus.
Absolutely. Beautiful mount there. And her artistry and execution is stunning. Aerial layout. Save that a little bit.
Well, get out of the way during the exhibition season, right?
She's allowed to have a little teeny bobble every now and then.
And she is human.
I guess.
Don't think she can be at times, but you talk about clutch. Had a 10.0.
Oh my gosh.
Both performances at Nationals. Had a 10.0 in the regional semifinals a year ago.
I've said this before, but my husband refers to her as the assassin.
That's well put.
It is. Flashes her 22s in honor of Ty Jordan and Aaron Lowe. Back handspring gainer full. Nice landing there. I mean, beautiful. Just that one little bobble. The college save. Dancey out of it.
The word I always have for her is determination, and someone who back to her pre-college days was international elite for a number of years and just decided I'm done with this and decided I'm going to get done with high school early and go to college. Tom Farnan had a spot for her, said I got a scholarship if you want it. Finished school early, came here and really just decided this is what I'm doing. And ever since she made that decision, since the first day she's had on campus, she has been just a dynamite Red Rock, one of the best in our school's history, 4-time national champion, back for one more year. All right, over to floor. Ella Zerbes to wrap up the third rotation.
Opens with a beautiful front double full. Clean in the air, really nice landing there. And Ella, like Jaylene, just has that beautiful toe point.
Ella placing first in the all-around, second on vault, bars, and floor at the 2023 Level 10 Championships.
Nice leap combination.
I like your comparison to Jaylene Gilstrap. It reminds me a lot of her as you watch her perform here.
1.5 front full. It was a little funky in the air there, but she saved it. You could see it on her face in the corner. And it's like she knew where that corner was. She could see where the out of bounds was going to be and was able to keep it in. But another great routine. And actually, I think that floor set went really well for Utah there. Saw a lot of good gymnastics, and seems like they're almost ready for it.
Sure do.
And I think usually floor is the one you see the farthest room to grow at this point, and so far those routines were great.
A look at Ella Zerbes. Not sure that's meant to be a Z on the back of the leotard, but
no lineup is set for whole season, so you're able to switch things up if they're not working, or change an order back to try different things. And so I'm sure we'll see a lot of change throughout the season as well.
well, we knew we had some 70s music on floor for McKenna Smith, and
didn't realize we had it on beam too.
the VW must be parked outside somewhere, because here we go. We got
she needs a poodle skirt. Maybe I'm going, oh no, that's right.
Yeah, you're right.
She's got grease here.
Olivia Newton-John, John Travolta going back in the day.
It's fun. Usually beam music, you get more low-key calm, and that's just not McKenna's vibe, so she's going for it. And so far, this has been a great routine. Great front aerial. Leading here into her series, back handspring layout. Made that look really easy. I like how her chest was up when she landed.
much more upbeat than our normal.
Yeah, you don't get
bounce
this.
beat music. We do not get this. And I was wondering how she would kind of work her way through this from a pacing standpoint. Sometimes the music can be a bit quick. Pacing follows. That's not been the case for her.
No, and I think sometimes it's about the state of mind that you get in with the beam music, and maybe McKenna works better when she has an upbeat, happy, keeping it light, and that works for people, and that would fit McKenna's personality, and so I think that's what we're seeing. And it's fun. It's fun to see something different, and I would say that was a very good routine right up and I mean, it was good all the way through, but just that dismount there,
Yep.
a little pike down, caused her to hop forward there, but really good routine, and she seemed like she was having fun, which is cool.
Got a little bit of a moonwalk in there. She flashed to you. I mean, we're going back to the
Yes, she
70s,
is.
80s. This is like classic music. But
Good for
McKenna
her.
Smith, yeah, that was fun to watch. Went as high as a 9.925 twice last year. But yeah, as Carly said on beam, you almost want to think as little as you can about what you're doing. It's about, you know, singing a song to yourself or thinking about other things, your family members,
Right, 'cause-
whatever you're, in your mind gets you off of what you're doing, that you're 4 feet off the ground is what you want to be.
Yeah, and really, for the most part in college gymnastics, the skills you're doing on the beam are not hard for you. They're just doing it on a beam in a pressure situation. So if you can eliminate the pressure piece in your mind, typically you can do pretty well.
All right, Cammie Winger first up on floor in this fourth rotation.
Yeah, nice front 1.5, or Rudy. And Cammie has a lot of power. We saw that on vault earlier as well, but we're seeing it here on floor. And once again, going first up. So they're really preparing her to potentially be a leadoff in any of the events this season.
So the plan right now is for Cammie to go definitely on vaults and bars first half of the meet, but working at beam and floor as well, as she can be a performer there down the rope. As Kendall said, they want her to lead off every chance she can.
And Cammie's got powerful gymnastics, but this routine is also reflective of that. Her movements, the dance. 1.5 front full. Really nicely done. That was another clean floor set for Utah.
You look at Cammie's background. She was a national champion, level 10, on floor back in 2022. So it's not as though this is a weak event. It just isn't quite to make this lineup where it needs to be at this point. Don't need her there, but certainly you can see that being in your top 6 at some point.
Absolutely. Well, and as you were saying, some of their meets are within a couple days of each other this year, and that's really hard on somebody's body. So having the depth that they have is going to be really important as they go through this long season.
All right, second up on beam in this fourth rotation, Ella Zerbs.
Yeah, and as we've said, Ella has beautiful lines and execution, and beam is a place you can really show that off. Split leap, maybe a little shy of 180. Same with that switch half. And she maybe seems a little nervous to me, which is fair. That's what this preview's for.
Well, Carly said there's definitely a sense of maturity in this freshman class. They built a great relationship from the seniors on down. The seniors have really empowered them to be themselves and not have to earn it, you know, like maybe you feel with some teams. They've just said, hey, you're part of the team. The seniors have spent a lot of time with them, and Carly says that's really helped this freshman class really step up and be themselves and be mature fairly early.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to form a good team culture. If you alienate freshmen, that's not a way to bring a group in, especially this small. And so putting them under your wing and bringing them along with you, I mean, that's just a benefit for the whole team, and it makes it more fun. But I've seen that too, where I work in the academic center here, and I work with the freshmen when they first come in for academics specifically. We meet weekly, and I've seen Jaden make that effort specifically. She'll come in and chat with them for a little bit. If she's sitting somewhere else, she makes sure she touches base and keeps it light with them. And I think that's just a testament to these women being around for so long and figuring out what works, and they've done a good job of that.
Well, I talked to some of the super seniors last week, and they said we've been maybe missing that tight cohesiveness. It's been a good team, but maybe not as tight as we could have been And he felt at times we weren't pulling for each other hard enough, and they said we want to eliminate that this year. That's one thing that with everything that's happened and what we can be, they wanted to work on that early, and they have certainly put forth the effort. All right, over to floor now. Second up, Ashley Glenn.
Whip back to 2.5. Was a little off center there, but able to hang on to it. You don't see that very often. For those on the radio, a whip back is a back handspring without hands.
Ashley scoring as high as a 9.85 on floor last year at Temple. She was a 3-time level 10 national championships qualifier coming out of high school.
Really nice leaps there. And she's got a lot of power, and you see that in those leap passes too. Front 1.5 or a Rudy. And that's it. I'm still sometimes shocked by these 2 passes. I mean, it's been years, and I'm still throwing sometimes. Really nicely done, though. And again, another good routine for Utah.
Well, as we're reminded about the 2-pass floor routine, remind us again the benefit of going 2 passes over 3.
Yeah, I think it just eliminates places for deduction. So you have 1 fewer pass where you can possibly have a mishap, or you have a feet separation or a toe pointing or flex feet. And so if you can eliminate a whole pass, that's eliminating, you're going from 3 opportunities to 2. And I mean, makes those 2 highly important. You have to make sure that you get all of your value in each of all of the elements required there. But if you can make it clean, and it's an easy way to eliminate deduction.
Well, let's head over to balance beam. And speaking of Friday music tonight, Jaylene Gilstrap going with a little country.
Yeah, you know, that's right in my heart. Us Texans
Little
love
Tim
our
McGraw.
country.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jaylene has beautiful lines and toe pointing. And has a fall, goes back handspring, pike, which is like a 2-footed backflip. You don't see that on the beam very often in college for a series. And just isn't able to hang on to it, lets her hips open up. And
Well, back to your point, much like floor, this is an event where her skill and artistry can really shine through and translate to a good score, a great score. She went as high as a 9.9 last year, scored a 9.85 in the regional finals, went 4 times on beam last season.
yeah, and I just think we're seeing a little bit of nerves from Jaylene. I'm sure she really wants to get in that lineup, and we've seen a few deductions throughout, and you can see the frustration on her face a bit, but
Well, this is her senior year, so sometimes you start to realize that you're coming down the home stretch. You want it almost too much at times, and hard to just let it happen. on occasion.
absolutely. And you know, this is a good place to start figuring that out. Like, okay, this has been my mindset. Maybe I need to shift now if I'm going for the next meet. And it's a good testing round.
Now a chance to watch a former Pac-12 Conference floor champion back in 2021, Jaden Rucker.
And always bring some fun to this floor team. A great dancer and music that always gets everybody hyped up. 1.5 front full, really nicely done. I'm wondering if Jaden's maybe switching up some of her tumbling this year. We typically see, we saw the double Arabian, we saw the half in, half out, so that's typically her first pass, so maybe she's throwing it out a little differently now.
Jaden scoring a 9.9 or better 3 times in the 4 NCAA postseason meets. Had a 9.925 at the regional final at Pauley Pavilion last season. Well, she's been tweaking her floor passes in recent
She has.
years and trying to find something that, 1, she's comfortable with, and 2, can execute cleanly in competition.
And consistently, you're right, because she has that big double Arabian and full in, but they weren't always consistent. some of those landings were hit or miss. So I'm wondering this year if maybe she's switching it up through that double back at the end there. My guess is that's what that pass is going to be. She's not going to pull out a full half in, half out in the last pass. I would be surprised. So.
Yeah, that's been the story, unfortunately, is we've had some great routines and some other out-of-bounds performances where you know it's there, just could not do it consistently. So we'll see how that routine comes together as we head towards the regular season. You know she's going to be in that lineup, as she has been throughout her career. And I believe she only missed one back in 2022. That's it during her college career on floor. 4-time All-Pac-12 performer. Let's go back over to balance beam, and another of the super seniors, Abby Paulson, performing.
Here goes beat jump, aerial layout. Really impressive. Adding that little jump before it, just making it even more difficult. Switch leap.
Abby tied for 23rd in the country on beam last year at the end of the season. 4-time All-American on this event. 2-time Pac-12 beam champion in 21 and 22.
Yeah, and so far this routine has been pretty typical Abby. Yeah, and you've seen all of the seniors here, or all of the super seniors, flash those 22s. Gainer full. Nice routine from Abby. Seems like the T-Swift theme is working for her.
Sure is. When you talk about the flash in the 22s, it was Carly had the idea of changing from little to legendary to the 22s after the Ty Jordan Aaron Lowe situation on campus. And you know, the gymnasts talked this week about what makes Carly so good, and they said going back to that, just her sense of the moment, what needs to be done, where to go, and the emotion and how to work with it. And they said, we saw that from her when she made the suggestion to move to flash in the 22s instead of the little to legendary, and they think with this team this year she'll do a similar thing where it's been, again, a difficult offseason, time to focus now, but they seem to feel though she has her hand on the pulse of this team and has had the right touch the last couple weeks after being named the head coach. All right, Grace McCallum, second to last on floor in this fourth rotation.
Yeah, and Grace's first pass is one that is new to us, a front layout, front double full. A little off on her landing on it, but I think it's going to be a big first pass and will be great.
Yeah, Carly Dockendorf saying just more dancey this year. Fans, they think will love this. She's having fun with it.
And I think that you can see that here. She's smiling and definitely has a lot more dance elements going on.
Well, Grace getting a 9.975 career best score in this event against Oklahoma in 22.
Yeah, and closed out with the double back and didn't quite make it around, so we saw an uncharacteristic fall by Grace. Just seems like maybe she's a little out of breath here.
Yep.
And that's another thing that this preview, and I think that's a little bit more typical of what we see in the preview, is it takes a while to get the stamina you need for a full floor routine, and we didn't really see much of that tonight, but maybe a bit from Grace there at the end. Who knows, she could be. We are at the end of finals week. Today is the last day of finals, so these women have been, literally are coming from finals. I know a couple of them had finals and were like late to warm-ups today because of those finals.
Yeah, our start got pushed back just a little bit tonight by a few minutes. Not that you probably noticed, but yes, that was part of the equation here this evening. All right, let's go back over to beam. Last up on that event tonight, someone who could be in this spot when we hit the regular season, Emily Morgan.
Yeah, and so far this routine has been fantastic. She has a new mount. She goes round off onto the board, back handspring onto the beam. She had a really nice triple series, and I think that's a place where she maybe had some deductions in previous seasons that I see some of those changes that Carly was talking about. She just has straighter knees, more pointed toes. That leap pass, just gorgeous. Over 180 on each of those splits.
Just so good to see her healthy. Again, those ankle issues really causing some issues the last couple of years, but Not the case so far this year.
It's nice to see someone succeed who is such a good leader and has just been a light on the team.
Had a 9.9125 at the national finals last year. Her career best score, a 9.95 back in 22. Native of Bristol, England. So Emily will wrap it up over arm B. One performance to go tonight in this Red Rocks preview, and who better than to go with than a 4-time national champion, Miley O'Keefe, last to go tonight.
This looks like another fun routine. Opens up with double pike, beautiful. Just gorgeous. And Miley is somebody who doesn't necessarily have the most difficult tumbling in college gymnastics, but keeps it so incredibly clean that there is nowhere for them to take deductions.
Miley, a national champion, Pac-12 champion on this event back in 21.
Beautiful front layout, front full. And again, just form throughout. Beautiful.
Yeah, her score is very consistent on this event over the course of her career.
She's a great dancer too, so she just has the full package.
Heard a little bamba and
Yeah,
some
you
up-tempo
do.
music here in this routine.
Finishes up here, 1.5 front lay, and one of the few routines tonight that has 3. Love that ending. How fun is that? She does, I'm not quite sure, I need a replay of it. Couple twists and lands on her knees for a dramatic finish there.
And that concludes tonight's exhibition.
Well, that was a great performance to wrap it up.
It was, that was beautiful.
So Miley O'Keefe, our final performer in this Red Rocks preview. Well, again, as I mentioned throughout, no scoring. How would you score if you were doing it this 4th rotation?
Yeah, I don't have specific scores, Mike, but I think they did pretty well. I think everything was pretty clean. We saw a few mistakes here and there. Jaylene had a fall, and then some issues throughout. Grace had that fall on floor too, but ultimately, I'd say I think they're in a really good spot. They look really clean. Their gymnastics looks easy. And for the most part, they don't look nervous. And I think that you usually see a lot of nerves in this preview. And they looked ready and determined. And I think they can come together stronger after everything that's happened. And I think that's the group we're seeing out there right now.
And what few nerves we did see, they seemed to rebound from it. You know, that was really in the first couple of rotations, as freshmen especially, but rebounded and performed well as we got to the back half of this exhibition meet. Well, the Red Rocks saluting the fans here at the Huntsman Center. Great crowd on hand for this Red Rocks preview, and we're back here for the first meet of the regular season on Friday, January 5th. Utah against Boise State. We'll have the live stream for you, as well as radio coverage on ESPN 700 and 92.1. So that comes up in a couple weeks. The team, as you mentioned, is through finals. A little bit of a break now for the holidays, but you know, shape-wise, health-wise, they look pretty good, and pretty good night gymnastics for exhibition.